Friendly reminder, this is absolutely the scariest horror movie from 19 years ago. When this film was released back then, it immediately shook the world. It is the terrifying House of Wax. Time has not faded this classic masterpiece. Even now, the shadow it cast on me remains vividly memorable. So today, let's revisit this pinnacle work from 19 years ago. The story begins in 1978 when a woman unexpectedly gives birth to conjoined twins. The terrifying couple forcibly separated the conjoined twins, resulting in Vincent having a physical deformity. Thus, Vincent has to use wax every day to repair his body. His inherent defects were magnified infinitely, and his psyche gradually began to distort. Obsessed with wax figures, the two massacred the entire town, coating the residents' bodies with wax to create exquisite artworks. Time passed unknowingly. One day, a group of friends planned to go to a university to watch a football game. After packing their bags, they embarked on that road of no return. Exhausted from the journey, the group decided to camp near Trudy's House of Wax. Under the influence of alcohol, the friends played around the campfire, forgetting everything else. Little did they know that in the distance, a pair of eyes had set their sights on its prey. A pickup truck appeared from nowhere, its headlights so blinding that they couldn't keep their eyes open, but the driver was tough and ignored their threats. Nick's pride would not allow him to be toyed with, so he grabbed a bottle and smashed the pickup truck's headlights. Seeing the group's large numbers, the driver sensibly backed up and left. Little did they know, Nick's actions were about to bring them immense trouble. That night, Carly was awakened by noises outside the tent. She went out to check, but after looking around, she found nothing. After a night's sleep, dawn arrived in the blink of an eye. When Carly and Paige went to the restroom together, they caught a whiff of a pungent, putrid odor. Following the smell into the woods, Carly slipped and slid down like a slide. She looked up and found herself facing a disgusting septic tank, and to her shock, there was a human hand sticking out from the middle of it. Meanwhile, the rest of the group at the campsite also sensed something was wrong. Their newly replaced fan belt had been cut by someone. It wasn't hard to guess that it was the work of the pickup truck driver from the previous night. Carly's screams attracted her companions to come and check. At that moment, a pickup truck carrying animals drove up, and a man got out of the truck. Lester claimed to be the forest ranger here. They then discovered that the hand in the septic tank was just a fake hand. After learning about the situation, Lester kindly offered to take them to the nearby town. After considering it, Carly and Wade got into Lester's pickup truck. To not miss the game, the remaining few had to go to the stadium first. In the pickup, Lester stares at Carly in a lecherous way, which makes Carly very uncomfortable. Under Lester's guidance, Carly and Wade saw the town he mentioned. Strangely, they searched the large town but couldn't find a single person. Even the petrol stations are empty. Carly and Wade continued to explore the town and eventually arrived at a church. When they opened the door, they found that the missing residents were all gathered here. Soon after, Bo came out. Not only did Bo not blame them for intruding into the church, but he also warmly said he would help them after the ceremony. Carly and Wade had no idea what this meant at the time. During this period, Carly and Wade came to a place called Trudy's House of Wax. But this wax museum was different, as even the walls around it were made of wax. Filled with curiosity, they couldn't wait to go inside. Meanwhile, Vincent in the basement heard someone coming. The exquisite sculptures in the house amazed Carly and Wade, as each wax figure looked incredibly lifelike. However, the two children's chairs placed in the corners seemed particularly special. Seeing this, Carly suddenly had a bad premonition. The incredibly realistic wax figures gave her an inexplicable sense of fear. An uneasy feeling quickly spread in this cramped environment. Panicked, Carly and Wade then left the Siri Wax Museum. However, trouble kept coming. The group that left earlier encountered a traffic jam on the road. Reluctantly, they decided to return and meet up with Carly and Wade, who were buying a fan belt. After leaving the Wax Museum, Carly and Wade headed into the gas station, but Wade looked around and couldn't find the right type of fan belt. As night began to fall and the church service ended, Bo took Carly and Wade back to his house. Bo happened to have the model they needed at his place. On the way to Bo's house, they chatted and laughed. Bo's casual conversation eased Carly and Wade's guard. Feeling the urge to use the bathroom, Wade followed Bo into the house without much thought. But after searching around, Wade couldn't find the bathroom Bo mentioned. Instead, he unexpectedly saw animal specimens stored in boxes. Rather than being scared, Wade's curiosity grew. When Carly noticed her boyfriend had been gone for 20 minutes, she sensed something was wrong. Just as she was about to look for him, she turned and saw the truck with the broken headlights. It instantly reminded her of the pickup truck from the previous night. Hearing the honking, Wade was about to leave, but the room plunged into darkness, and the wooden door was locked tightly from the outside. At this moment, a figure slowly emerged from beneath the floor. The man extended a pair of scissors and severed Wade's Achilles tendon, causing him to scream in agony. As he struggled to stand, a masked man suddenly rushed at him. Realizing something was wrong, Carly quickly called for help from their companions. Just after Carly hung up, Bo appeared alone, pretending to kindly coax Carly into the house to rest. Now aware of everything, Carly wouldn't believe his lies. She hurried into the car and locked the doors, but her assumed defense was quickly breached by the man. In a critical moment, Carly saw the keys in the car. Though Carly managed to temporarily escape Bo's grasp, the out-of-control car plunged into a ditch. In these life and death moments, every second was precious. Carly then frantically ran into the church, but no matter how much Carly pleaded for help, the people inside ignored her. Soon after, Carly was shocked to discover that the people here had also been made into wax figures. Seeing this, Carly's eyes filled with despair. At that moment, Bo, armed with a shotgun, also arrived at the church. Carly, hiding under the wax figure's clothes, couldn't stop trembling. Eventually, Bo found Carly. Meanwhile, Wade, whose Achilles tendon had been severed, was placed on the operating table. Vincent first cut open Wade's clothes, then considerately gave him an injection of anesthesia. After that, he applied his specially prepared hair removal cream all over Wade's face. Once he finished, Vincent moved Wade to the next step of the process. Vincent merely turned a valve, and in an instant, hot wax poured out of the pipes. With his entire body restrained, Wade couldn't make a sound. Soon after, Nick and Dalton arrived at the gas station, but Carly, glued in place, couldn't make a sound. Half an hour later, Bo came out of the basement after dealing with Carly. Unexpectedly, the persistent Nick had not left. While they were talking, Carly in the basement managed to free one arm. However, Nick didn't notice Carly's fingers sticking out. Seeing this, Bo pretended to tie his shoe, but in reality, he was stealthily pulling out a pair of pliers. Carly endured the pain of her broken finger and forcibly peeled off the glue from her mouth. Only now did Nick hear Carly's cries for help. He quickly ran into the gas station and shut the iron door. Meanwhile, Dalton, who had left earlier, found his way to the church and was shocked to discover Wade had been turned into a wax figure.
Hold tight, man. Hold tight. I'm gonna get you out of this. Alright, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. What happened to you, man? Oh my God.
Powerless to fight, Dalton was toyed with by Vincent like a puppet. Dalton was killed instantly without even a chance to scream. On the other side, Carly and Nick, who had escaped, tried every phone they found but discovered none of them worked. When they sought help from the residents, they saw that everyone in the town had been turned into wax figures by the deranged brothers. In their moment of despair, Blake and Paige at the campsite were enjoying their time alone. Suddenly, an unexpected noise shattered their rare peace. Blake stepped out of the tent and saw a phone that had appeared out of nowhere. To his surprise, he heard Carly's screams on the other end. Half an hour later, Paige, who was drowsy in the tent, walked out in confusion and found her boyfriend's corpse. Without a moment to think, Paige fled in a panic and hid in a warehouse, but the strong scent of Paige's perfume ended up sealing her fate. Soon, footsteps sounded around her, and Paige's fear escalated rapidly with the approaching sounds. It seemed her fate was sealed. Before long, the cat and mouse game came to an end. Vincent didn't forget to take out his camera to document his prize. Not just Paige, but Carly and Nick, who had escaped, also found themselves in a deadlock. At this point, Nick had a bold idea. Disconnected from the outside world, Carly and Nick had no choice but to fight the two deranged brothers to the death. However, just as Nick grabbed a weapon, Bo found his runaway prey. Death came so suddenly, Carly and Nick quickly ducked into the movie theater. Carly naively thought she wouldn't be noticed if she disguised herself as a moviegoer, but Bo spotted her immediately. While Bo was changing ammunition, Carly escaped from death once again. Bo ran out, only to be met by a crossbow aimed right at him. With Bo's death, they relaxed, thinking the worst was over, but they would soon learn how crucial it is to make sure your enemy is truly dead. To search for their other companions, they returned to Bo's house once again. Unexpectedly, someone walked out as they arrived. They were shocked to see it was Bo, who had only pretended to be dead. Hiding in the corner, Carly and Nick didn't dare make a sound. Once Bo left, Nick snuck into the basement of the wax museum, but it was pitch black inside. Searching for the switch, Nick randomly flipped the circuit breakers, which caused the lights in the house to flicker, alerting Bo. Nick and Carly walked deeper into the basement, eventually finding Wade, who had been turned into a wax figure. When Nick lightly touched Wade, his body broke apart like a brittle French fry. They were terrified and at a loss for what to do. Vincent comes in with such vigor that Nick and Carly can't even stand up to him. Fortunately, during the struggle, they accidentally opened the valve to the oil tank. Seeing this, Nick quickly knocked over the boiling oil tank, and within a second, the wax-filled house was engulfed in flames. Trapped on the other side of the fire, Vincent could only watch them escape, but their nightmare didn't end just because they left. Nick and Carly entered the hall and ran into Bo. Enraged, Bo was now terrifyingly strong, and after a few rounds, Nick was overwhelmed. Meanwhile, the spreading flames grew larger, and the rising temperature caused the entire wax museum to start melting. Just as Bo was about to kill Nick, Carly hit Bo with a baseball bat, killing him. They barely had time to catch their breath before Vincent, ablaze, walked out. Seeing his brother killed, Vincent was furious and went into a frenzy. Carly, trying to escape, found herself cornered. In such moments, every second of delay could turn the tide. Carly tried to reason with Vincent, explaining Bo's manipulations, but Vincent didn't care. Despite his injuries, Nick stood up again. No matter how formidable Vincent was, he was still human. Working together, they managed to kill Vincent. However, their troubles weren't over yet. The burning house had completely lost its support, and at this rate, they would inevitably be buried here. Perhaps blessed by luck, Carly found a wall that hadn't melted. In the nick of time, Nick and Carly climbed out. The moment they escaped, the entire wax museum began to collapse like a mudslide. The next day, as they rode away in the ambulance, they looked back and saw Lester.
Ran the Sinclair family through CDIC. Trudy and the doctor didn't have two sons. They had three.
As for the third person, you can probably guess who it was. That's it for today's story. See you next time.